I know. Usually it would be Lifestyle Daily before Motivation Monday. But yeah, we felt that why not? Today is our show and it's for you as well, so why not? So time now to talk about the biggest stories that were happening. And of course, you've got your favorites here this morning, my favorite as well. We've got Anthony Julius Kwame here joining us, or Julius Kwame Anthony. He prefers to be addressed as a youth activist. You know him for something. He prefers to be a youth activist as well as soldier for the youth. And this morning also will be my first time meeting him. Maybe he's been here, but it will be my first time. An ex-speaker of the SRC General Assembly, University of Ghana, Mr. Stephen Ewa Pobi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so how was your week? I haven't met you in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
how have you been faring without me?
Not so good.
Not so good, eh? Okay, and
I have to come and inhale some freshness.
Look at that. Look at that. It'll be my first time. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, Anthony, your weekend? Highlights of your weekend?
Well, the debt exchange program and all the drama it came with. Finally, the minister saying they have reached over 83% compliance by the bondholders and all. Recently, there has been some disturbances in Commonwealth Hall and all that. All those issues are. And then the Boku issues too. I don't know if you've been following.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah. Those issues are fresh on my mind.
I'm sure you forgot about Christian Achu.
Is that?
Christian Achu.
I don't want to go there. It's tragic.
It's tragic.
It's heartbreaking.
Wrenching, I agree.
It's heartbreaking for such a kind man who, from the records, until recently, I didn't know he does a lot of charity.
Yeah.
You know, in our country, when people do something small, they put cameras all over to show it to the whole world that they are doing something for people. To have such a person who has helped so many people without seeing the need to put it on the screens, without showcasing it and all, be lost in this tragic one is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I wish his wife and children would find solace and be happy again.
I pray so too. I wish on that. Sir Pobi, do you have any highlights of the news happening over the weekend? I mean, last week all through to this weekend.
Yes, I think the ones I've been following is the debt exchange program, as my brother he had made mention of, and also, as he said, Christian Achu and University of Ghana, because that been my age.
Right.
I've been following keenly of the current happenings going on there.
Okay, good. It'll be a good time to start with the University of Ghana. I've had I've personally gathered, different informations and different numbers of persons who have been arrested and all of that. It'll be a good time for you to give us some clarity on that story. What's really the real story over there?
Okay, so what is happening in the University of Ghana currently is that, there was this whole policy that is in, out policy, that is accommodation policy, that the management tried to introduce to the university students. And at the same time, we had this clash between Commonwealth and Sabah Hall. And I think
these are two separate issues.
Yes, these are two separate issues. Okay. But there's a school of thoughts in the University of Ghana that believe that now management used that as a catalyst to, introduce this policy. That is an in, out policy. That I think other universities are practicing. And when you study the dynamics that is in University of Ghana and other campuses, you realize that this is not kind of feasible because other campuses have a lot of hostels that can accommodate students. But University of Ghana do not have these hostels.
What will be the in, out policy?
So the in, out policy would be that now when you gain admissions to University of Ghana and you're accommodated for the first year, the subsequent years you have to go and look for your own hostel. So if you can get a hostel as maybe Wager or Kaswa or anywhere in Africa or Ghana, they don't care about that. I know there are some people who are coming all the way from Kumasi, Tamale, and other places who this policy wouldn't favor them.
Okay.
Yes.
But is this not because the university is really lacking in resources in terms of housing facilities, and so they would rather have the new people, the new entrants, have some place so that you who have been quite, you know your way around campus can go around campus, find hostels. Would that be, I'm just thinking, what would make the management think so?
That could be possible. But as I stated earlier, there's a school of thought that believe that, management use this to clear away some of the Commonwealth and also Sabah boys who have been causing troubles on campus. So if we have freshers always occupying the various halls, then it means that there wouldn't be any other clash.
Continuity of clashes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is what is happening. And, some Commonwealth boys or some students man up together and they call themselves the Concerned Students Association, which have been in existence. But we are now seeing their full force. And their claims is that this policy is not feasible in the University of Ghana, so management should revert it. And also, we have other stakeholders who are in support of what this association is saying. So that led to an injunction placed on that policy. Okay. And according to the High Court ruling that came, they said that all Commonwealth boys should be restored to their rooms with immediate effect. Okay. However, there was a petition that was sent by management to the court, which I am sure that the boys did not know. So they tried marching to their hall on the end. They were stopped by the police. So,
okay,
yes.
Based on the finding, based on what the management received from the court.
Yes.
Okay.
So they also had.
But are there 18 persons that have been arrested?
Yes,
genuinely?
there are 18 persons that have been arrested, but they are not. I would say they have been quarantined. They are not, yes, because they are not in prison.
They are not. To them,
yes,
the parents have access to them. They see them. They talk to them.
You're able to chat them.
Okay.
Yes, you're able to chat them, and you're able to call them to talk to them.
What are they doing in quarantine?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, I think that's relieving to hear. I don't think that young people should be in these situations. However, certain facts must be laid straight on the Commonwealth issue. I feel that the action of the boys only goes to vindicate management's position on the matter, that they should be moved out of there to a different location. Right. The reason why I say the action of the boys goes to vindicate management's decision is that if there is a court order that management should comply with the status quo and not make changes, who enforces court orders? Is it them? Is it they, the boys, who go there to enforce court orders? So if you go there and the same tangent you've been going upon, trying to cause distraction on campus as a way of enforcing a court order, then it flies in the face of rule of law that you want to maintain.
In this case, who would have enforced the court order?
The court order is supposed to be enforced by the court itself. If they instructed management to, comply with the status quo, and management did not, because as far as I am aware, management has appealed. So if there's an appeal before the court, then there will be a request for a stay of execution.
Yeah.
And whether or not the court would grant the stay of execution is within the domain of the court. So if the court has not acted to either hold the university for contempt for not complying with their initial order, or granting them a stay of execution for appeal, and then you go there to go and cause trouble in the name of enforcing court order. When did it happen in this country that it is Commonwealth boys who go and enforce court order? So you see, it goes to vindicate management, that they are the ones who have been causing trouble on campus. One point must be made clear. Part of the reasons why management went in to, change the residential policy in Commonwealth to move the continuing students to different halls is because always when these things happen, they claim that they are not the ones. It's people from town. That so long as you cannot point to anybody, you should not hold them responsible. But what have we seen in the past 3 months when this whole impasse was happening? We realized a situation where you claim you are not the ones, but you have persons who ordinarily aren't members of that hall. Officially, if you check the documents, they are not members of that hall. They are the ones who speak for you. And you have the people who are supposedly the members of the hall support them as their representatives. I'm talking about Restford. Recently, a gentleman was on CTFM saying all manner of things. The next moment, he was part of the people who were leading the march. Yes, on campus. They went to Commonwealth Hall trying to force themselves into the halls and all that. And he was found out not to have even been registered as a member of the hall, not to have even paid his fees. And it means he's not in status popularity. He's not a student, properly so-called. And then he was among them, leading this. So if management feels that the generality of the continuing students who are in the hall provide a cover for such people, and they must be removed, it is justified. You do not expect that after you claim that you are not the ones, but you provide the room for those who are not members to be the ones to cause the trouble, you should be allowed to stay. You see, the university is larger than just them. The official population in Commonwealth Hall is less than 900. So a population of 50,000 cannot continue to be terrorized by few people. And even when the issue comes up, the people who are members of the hall, you find out they say they are not the ones. So if you are not the one, give room so that people who are the ones can be caught. It's as simple as that. So the issue of Commonwealth Hall and it's recurring all the time, I think we should take a better look at it. We can't be there and one day someone dies in these clashes before we realize that action must be taken. And if management takes certain actions that you feel are not lawful, use the law and make sure that the right thing is done. So if management is following the law to go through an appeal and all that, go and challenge the appeal.
Why is it so difficult for students to follow the law, though? Why are we, as students, always want to show our displeasure by, must we march always? Must we demonstrate always? You know, must we break something
I don't think demonstration is a bad thing, especially when it comes at that.
But I mean, always. You hardly hear that students have said that no marching, no demonstration. We're writing.
I don't think so. I've been on record to have said severally that demonstration should be a last resort when I was at Nooks. On record, severally, when these issues come up, I've been on record to have held students back on several issues on what do you call it, UTAC strikes and all those things. We hold demonstrations to be last resorts. And we don't go on that tangent. But not to say that demonstrations are bad things. When it becomes necessary for people to demonstrate, they should be allowed to demonstrate. But if we have a situation where, what is the cause that Commonwealth Hall and Mensa Sabbath demonstrate for, when in the evenings, in the dark of night, when other students want peace of mind to study, they go pelting stones at each other, and then when the next day they are questioned on it, they say they are not the ones. There has been no time that they have ever admitted that they are the ones who did that. Okay. But we have people among them who, when those people are caught, you find out that people are not even members of them, but they go protecting those people. What is their interest in protecting those kind of things?
I think it's a relief to know, so that we don't spend even time on this. There's a relief to know that it's not that they're in police custody, but they've been confined.
Yes.
And this confinement, is it by management or by the police?
It's by the police.
By the police.
Yes.
And parents can have access to them.
Yes.
Is it to question them or to gather information? You won't know, but maybe subsequently we'll know this. Yeah. But, you know, I need some clarity. I'm but a youth, like, you know, people who follow you and what you say, they understand. What really is the meaning of Fitch downgrading our city worthiness? What does it mean in a very basic, simple term?
Well, the credit rating agencies is just similar to how you are graded when you write examinations. There's A, B, C, D, you know, and all of them have implications. We are now at RD, restricted default. When you are at default, it means you can't pay back your debts that you owe. And it means even people's capital may not return to them. It is expected that in the case of Ghana, where we are having a debt exchange program, majority of the people, not especially people below the ages of 57, going who have what you call it, CD-denominated bonds with government, will not be getting their monies, and we've been rescheduling when those monies will return to them or not. It's expected that we'll be downgraded. I don't think it's even news that the downgrade happened. Normally, Fitch will not downgrade countries that are already at CC, but they had to do in the case of Ghana. I don't know why they bring it up, but it's something to be expected. If
so
you are debt default.
RD means what? Restricted
default. So
default.
So when you are at CC, it means that your credit rating is not good, but there's a positive outlook.
Okay.
That things may change. But when it's D, it means you are at default.
Okay.
They don't expect things to go any better. So unless we secure the IMF, what do you call it, deal, properly so-called, and have the dollar inflow again, there things may turn out to have a positive outlook again. But when you are at default, it means that they don't expect any positive outlook, which, of course, the fact that we are taking people's bonds and exchanging them for 10 years, 5 years, is self-evident. So it's not a surprising thing in the case of Ghana.
Would you share the same?
Yeah, I think he has said it all, because when you study what is happening in our government right now, you realize that now governments wouldn't be able to pay the bondholders. And as a result of that, it's no news for Fitch to come out to say that we are now at...
Time to talk about a debt exchange program then. So pensioners say that the Minister of Finance has only said it verbally, that they've been exempted and that they do not have any formal writing to what he has said. He's also said, is it 83 or 85%?
Well, if I'll be honest with you, I don't trust anything Ken Rufo-Yatta says. That's me being extremely honest with you. And the records are there to show that our finance minister is not a trustworthy person when it comes to our economy. We are a proud nation. We will never go to the IMF. We will solve our issues domestically. He ended up at the IMF. what do you call it, individual bondholders. Is it justified for our finance minister, the manager of our finances, the one who is in charge of our purse, who people's life depends on, to say one thing and the next moment the other thing happens? Is it justified?
All the time.
No, it doesn't happen all the time.
You have economic pointers that you look out for, in surety that if you did this and that, you wouldn't have to go to the IMF.
No, as of the time Ken Ofori-Atta was saying that he wouldn't go to the IMF, we are a proud nation. All credible voices, including the CSOs, everybody advised that he should go to the IMF, that it's getting too late.
Okay.
The professors at the University of Ghana, Professor Bobkin, has been on record to say that if he didn't act then, when the whole Ghana was saying something needed to be done, he'll end up at the IMF, quote, in ambulance. That's the words of Professor Bobkin at the time. Professor Bobkin is a credible voice on the economy, so far seemingly more than our finance minister himself, since what Bobkin says comes to pass and the finance minister's statements never come to pass.
So for you, the 85%, you don't... But
I was getting to a point on that particular issue,
okay,
was saying that I don't trust anything Ken Ofori-Atta says. You tell us that 85% people voluntarily did that, and you are telling us that the bondholders, the pension bondholders, will not be affected, those of them who did not voluntarily opt to do it. And you are not showing a document showing... Why should pensioners not be worried if the same person is telling them that verbally that they are exempted indeed? They would demand writing. And beyond the fact that the pensioners want a written document as proof of their exemption, is the fact that there is no policy credibility when it comes to the finance ministry. When people say that Ken Ofori-Atta should be removed and replaced, it seems to people as though it is some hatred for him, or people don't like him, or people just like picking on him. That is not the case. Financial policies require credibility because it requires credit. People giving you your money is in trust that they will get it back. So if you have a character who one day says something else and does the other, people would not. So the impact on our economy with this debt exchange program and all that is our creditworthiness in the future. Will people voluntarily go and give their monies to get government bonds again? They would not. So we have this situation where people distrust the finance minister, and when we say it, it appears as though there's something. It is not. So the 85%, unless credible documents show that yeah, these are the people who voluntarily did that, I don't believe him. Unless there's